MCP has been a huge deal, and everybody's been hyping it up since its inception a few months ago, and for good reason. It's essentially the Rosetta Stone for all your different tool calls that you use online, right? Except until recently, it's been a little bit tricky, and non-technical people would have definitely run into some roadblocks trying to connect to these different MCP servers to, speak that unified language, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you probably the fastest, most straightforward path that I've come across to start speaking that language. If you haven't heard of MCP, it stands for Model Context Protocol, and all that is, just like I was saying at the outset, is a unified language for all the different connections you make online, right? Instead of a library of different API endpoints, now all these different tools speak the same language. And what that means is we can use natural language now with our agents to achieve a different task instead of that agent having to search for the very specific URL that does the thing. Okay, so that made a world of difference in terms of connections and, as you can imagine, making life easier for agent builders like us. However, so even though we have this language and a really efficient way to communicate with all our tools, the models that we use don't speak it natively. We still need to teach them the MCP protocol, and that's where connecting to the servers comes in. And until recently, that wasn't the most straightforward thing to do. Like, if you didn't have a bit of a tech background, it wasn't the easiest. So today I'm going to show you the fastest way to connect to MCP with a service called MCP360. We're going to show 3 practical business applications as to what MCP can do for your workflows, and at the end I'll show you one curveball that's going to save you a ton of time. So let's just jump into it. The platform we're using today is called MCP360.ai, and their thing is they're kind of like Open Router, but for MCP servers, right? So I found that really intriguing. These folks actually approached me and just wanted me to kind of give a bit of feedback and like an honest overview of this. This isn't sponsored at all. I'm not being paid. I didn't get anything for doing this, but I do get a lot of inquiries about, these sorts of platforms and whatnot. And I found this one to be particularly intriguing because I can see a lot of practical use cases for this, right? So like I said, anything that I say about this is my honest feelings, and I'm not being paid whatsoever. So you're going to log in and make a project. Again, this is the free plan, so even better, right? So you got your project, you name it, whatever you want to name it. First things first, let's go get an API key, go create new key. Let's call it demo, right? Whenever you create an API key, save it, put it somewhere else. I'm going to delete this one immediately so nobody steals my stuff. Okay, so we've got our API key. We're all set up. Now let's see what we can do with this. Okay, so going over to MCP servers, the big boy at the top, this is their skeleton key for all the tools they have access to at the moment. And that is awesome. But really, I want to see what that means. So first things first, let's see what tools are available. First one that caught my eye was the YouTube tools, right? Because a big part of what we're doing is repurposing content, for our own promotion or as part of our offer or whatever. So the first thing I want to do is content repurposing with YouTube, and I'll show you just how easy this can be. So let's bounce over to N8N, where I've got a couple of these agents already kind of staged for us, but I'll show you exactly what to do. Let's take our chat trigger, and we're going to get an AI agent, right? Nothing crazy there. Make sure to turn on the system message while we're at it. Let's connect it to Open Router, right? 4.1 mini is perfect. And then we're going to call an MCP tool. So click on the tools, the plus there, go to MCP client tool, and we want the YouTube one. So go back over to MCP360, setup instructions right here, boop, and then we're going to copy this URL. This is what gives us access to the entire YouTube MCP. And this is so much easier than how it used to be. So just copy, paste, and then put the API key we just got, put it there. Now we've got the YouTube, I should label this, good practice, YouTube tool. Ta-da, YouTube tool 1, just because I've got another one over here. So, perfect. What else are we going to do? Let's do Google Trends, same sort of thing. Boop. Google Trends tool, back over here, setup instructions, Google Trends. There we go. Plug in that API key. One more time. Boop. Okay, great. So we've got our MCP tools set up. The next step is something you might not have known you can do, but you can actually call more than one LLM per task, right? So for example, I'm running GPT for tool calling, I'm running Perplexity for research, and Anthropic for writing. And the way you do that is using your Open Router account or an HTTP request for those models as a tool, right? Easy peasy. I'll show you how we do that actually. So you're going to get your Open Router account and then the body parameters of the model and then the message essentially, right? So if you'd like access to how to sort that out a little more, you can check it out in my community. But for now, that is that. So let's see exactly what this workflow can do. Now that we've got all of this sorted out, we're going to check out the system message I had. So it's pretty simple. We just want to break down the steps and the outcome that we want, right? So you're a content research assistant, execute this workflow. So step 1, YouTube search. Identify top 5 performing videos on this topic. Google Trends, find the top 3 trending angles for the user's topic. Perplexity research, deep dive the strongest trend. Anthropic, generate content based on findings, okay? I have a limit here just for the sake of this video so I don't burn through all of my credits, but output format is LinkedIn by default, right? Maximum 1,300 characters, fantastic. So I was actually showing my buddy this workflow this morning. He's in real estate, so let's just stick with that. Get me 3 trending Alberta real estate videos and write repurposed content for the highest score. Vamos! What are we doing? Checking out the YouTube. Okay, what we got? Alberta real estate videos. Thinking. There we go. Bang! I don't know if you guys can see. That actually is not as good. So let's check this out actually. So it says breaking down barriers, 0 fee plans, revolutionizing Alberta real estate. This might be boring for like most of the world, but essentially it says for real estate agents, and then here's your bit for home sellers. Here's your bit. So you're kind of like approaching everybody, ready to explore the future in Alberta real estate. Amazing, right? It's got your hashtags right here. Boop, boop, boop. So the wrapper here can be whatever you want. And by that, I mean, you could have this pushed to a Google Sheet. You could have this posted directly to LinkedIn. But I'm just wanting to highlight exactly how easy this was. One URL for your YouTube. I don't know if you've ever tried to connect to YouTube through N8N before, but it is not a one-step process, okay? You have to go into Google Cloud Console, and it's a little bit technical. So if you've done it before, you can see how much faster this is. And if you haven't, you can obviously see that one URL to connect to the wealth of information on YouTube is kind of amazing. So awesome for content creation. Check. Let's see what else we got. Going back over to MCP360, I see web scraping, which is definitely intriguing. And then down here, I saw something else. Email verification tool. Verification and validation in one thing. It almost seems like they're putting together a bunch of different endpoints to make their own like Franken tool, but I'm all right with that. Let's use those together and see what we can find. Okay, so the next workflow, we're going to do something really similar. We're going to use Perplexity to find our ICP. We're going to use the web scrape to learn a lot about them, and then we're going to use the email verification tool to make sure that we can actually like get in touch with these folks. Okay, so similar attack. Let's go over to this setup instructions, copy, and then just paste it in here. Like I said, I already have this set up, but I mean, you see what we're doing. Perplexity already set up. We'll copy paste it from the last one. And then the system prompt here is again, very simple. We're just going to walk through what we want it to do, right? Step by step. So you are a local business lead generator, execute this workflow. So step 1, Perplexity, search, get website and as much relevant info as possible. Number 2, web scraping, use website or other information gathered from Perplexity to find name, address, phone, email, rating, hours, description, like whatever. Email verification, validate any emails found, return only good/valid emails, and return structured JSON output. Stop at 10 results to conserve credits. That again, like I said, for the 15th time. So let's go over here. I want to do something. Let's say we have a voice agent offer, all right, which is something that I'm going to be teaching in my community. Actually, that's going to be something that like we're going to set up, build together, and you can sell. So this is very, very practical. Let's say find me tattoo shops in Calgary, Alberta, with valid email addresses. There we go, and see what they got. Perplexity searching for the shops. And I mean, I just went with tattoo parlors because it's the first sort of voice agent workflow that I'd ever done was with, you know, tattoo parlors. It could be like spas, or a lot of people reach out to like dentists. Anything that, you know, has a lot of like appointment booking. Property management is another like big one that needs a lot of help that way. And I know I went with Perplexity, but I also had the Google Maps tool here as well that you could use. Same sort of thing. They've got the MCP lined up for Google Maps, but I felt this was kind of a more unique workflow on account of Google Maps has been done to death. Anyway, so here are our results. Royal Tattoo address, good. Email, info at Royal Tattoo, validated, great. We got a bunch actually. That's fantastic. Let's go with something else. Let's maybe try like a list of real estate agents in Vancouver, BC with their valid email addresses and phone numbers. Let's see what we got here. Real estate agents are really easy to get in touch with. Obviously, they always pick up their phone as well. So I mean, there should be some pretty solid results here. We're gonna scrape the web. Oh, there we go. Now we're doing the validation. Sick. Cool. Ron. Hey Ron, nice to meet you. 604. There it is. Ron at. Perfect. All right, so like you see, the results here are crazy, and it's really, really fast and inexpensive. This is free, and I just got like 20 valid emails. I gave it a bunch of guardrails here too, right? Like I said, only bring back 10 search results and only return valid emails. I got a bunch, you know what I mean? And that was like 8 credits on the MCP360 side. So, I mean, in terms of like lead generation, content creation, so far we're doing really, really well. You know, if you've watched the channel, that I prefer like high intent lead scraping. So the last one I saw here on MCP360 was actually Google. Where is it now? It says Google Jobs Tools. Okay, so Google job search, salary data, employment opportunities. Fantastic. Let's do that. So essentially what I'm going to do is exactly the same thing. We're going to search Google Jobs. We're going to get that set up here, same way. So we're going to go just copy, paste, right? We're going to use Perplexity to research the companies that are posting these jobs. And we're going to use the email verification tool again to validate the emails that we get here. Super easy. Once more, very simple system prompt. Oh my God, if I can click on it. Boop. You are an SDR searching for a high intent leads hiring for the position listed. Execute this workflow, in steps. So number 1, Google Jobs, search postings, limit 8 max. Again, I put guardrails on here just for me. 2, extract company, position, location, URL, website, find contact email. First, check the job posting. If missing, use Perplexity, company, contact email, email verification, validate, skip obvious fakes, right? No reply at, do not reply at, return instruction JSON. So let's see what we got here. Social oops, if I can spell it right. Boop. Media manager. Let's go content creator. Sure. Now we are looking on Google Jobs. I love when they do it at the same time. All right, what do we got? Talk to me, Goose. Cool. Awesome. So we got a bunch of new leads. I want to show you why I've had it output JSON. It's so that I can map this easily later. We're going to go, can you generate a structured output parser for the following output, please? Right. I'm not much of a coder, but I can do this really, really quick, and Claude will spin it up. I'll create a structured output parser for the job listing data. Okay, so now with this code node, it's broken down into different columns, right? So each of these will be broken down into like the company, position, location. I'll show you. So if we're putting into like a Google Sheets, we can have our table laid out just like this, which is fantastic. And we got what, 8 leads, just like we asked. So this is fantastic. So these are all working out great individually. Now I want to see how they do together. So again, I've got that sort of lined up already, where we got the MCP Universal Gateway, Perplexity, and Anthropic here lined up because those are the tools we were using. Up at the top, it's exactly the same setup. For the 35 MCP servers, you just go click setup instructions, get this one URL, and there you go. Plug it into the tool. Good to go. Amazing, right? I want to sort out the system message here. I might actually bring this over into Claude and like line something up. I need a system message for a universal MCP tool calling AI agent. It's got access to 35 different MCP servers. I would like it to call a think tool in order to first plan out the best course of action and then call one of the tools listed here. So I've got so far, cool. It's got this broken down into like 9 servers for search, 13 for media, email validation. Perfect. Done. System message. Bada boom. Let's give it that think tool. Here we are. Let's just give it like the same prompts as we had before. There we go. Think it thought. Alrighty, output is done. Let's see what we got. Great, so it did output in JSON, which is what we wanted. Like I said, it's easier to organize that way. Let's go down and see the repurposed content, what we got. Repurposed content, perfect. 10 Alberta cities bracing for major home price drops in 2025. Market intelligence report, 13,000 plus views and trending. Fantastic. Okay, good. So that did its job. So I think the next step is to just go through and do the other tool calls. Find me 3 tattoo parlors in Vancouver, BC. Get me their validated contact information, including email address and phone number, please. There we go. So we got a few. Email validated, unknown, risky, good. And what's this one? Invalid. Okay, so this is on me. I should have said return only valid emails, but we can see what it did. It said 4 credits used total, 1 for map search. So it searched Google Maps for Vancouver and then validated the 3 emails. Fantastic. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so let's go with find me companies hiring for social media manager or content creator. Bring me back their website and valid email. Actually, with this, let's go with find me 8 companies hiring for social media manager or content creator, bring back their website and valid email. I'm actually like really stoked, right? Because it's calling more than one thing. It says like it's calling Google Maps and then it's actually like validating emails is huge. Even just that is pretty dope. So far, the content creation working from the one MCP tool, the Google Maps, the email validation working from the one MCP tool. Okay, fantastic. Results, company, email verified, email verified, email verified. Fantastic. So great success. I'd say that works essentially as advertised, right? I think what they're doing at MCP360 is awesome. It's making this really awesome connectivity more accessible for people with like less technical skills, right? Low/no code. The universal gateway I think is great. Great idea. With that, hats off, guys. I'm really glad that they got in touch with me because this is amazing how streamlined they made this. So thanks for hanging out. If you like these 3 workflows, I've got dozens more in my School community. The same systems I use to transition my income completely online from my 6-figure salary job. We've got lead generation, voice agents, content repurposing, all set up so you can download and deploy like this week. Also, starting really soon, we're going to start building these systems step by step together so that you can be sure to launch your online business successfully as well, right? The School community will be free until Halloween 2025, so check the link in the description to take advantage of that while you can. Check the pinned comments for information about MCP360. I bet you they'll have something to say about that too. Otherwise, we'll see you in school. Catch you in the next one.